Now to the debate over what to do about Iran. On Wednesday, President Bush warned of the potential of a World War III if something isn't done to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. NBC's chief White House correspondent David Gregory has more on this. David, what can you tell us?
Well, hi, Matt. As you know, diplomatic efforts to force Tehran to abandon its nuclear weapons program, its nuclear program in general, has not worked. And so the president is raising the stakes.
At the White House, the president warned wavering allies that Iran must be stopped before it's too late.
So I've told people that if you're interested in avoiding World War III, it seems like you ought to be interested in preventing them from having the knowledge necessary to make a nuclear weapon.
The president again cited Iran's warning to destroy Israel, but refused to say whether he would support an Israeli preemptive strike on an Iranian nuclear program, a move Israel apparently took against Syria last month.
David, I'm not going to comment on the subject that you're trying to get me to comment on.
But as the White House turns up the heat, is Russia standing in the way? President Vladimir Putin met with Iranian leader Mahmoud Ahmadinejad this week and publicly opposed the talk of military action against Iran. Mr. Bush played down talk of a new U.S.-Russian rift.
If those are in fact his comments, I look forward to having him clarify those, because when I visited with him, he understands that it's in the world's interest to make sure that Iran does not have the capacity to make a nuclear weapon.
What's clear is that Iran is the new Iraq, a foreign policy threat front and center at the White House and on the campaign trail.
If I'm president of the United States, I guarantee you we will never find out what they will do if they get nuclear weapons, because they're not going to get nuclear weapons.
Hillary Clinton was recently criticized on the left for voting to designate Iran's Revolutionary Guard a terrorist group, though she denied she was helping the White House make a case for war. Experts warn Iran's nuclear program promises to be a crucial test for the next president.
Whatever happens between now and January 2009, this issue is not going to go away. Iran is going to be on a path to getting nuclear weapons for some time to come. We ought to play this for the long haul.
That issue of the long haul is the source of a debate, and politically, particularly among Republicans, Matt, there is much more interest in debating a potential future standoff with Iran rather than debating the war in Iraq.
Clearly, David. David, thank you very much. He's at the White House this morning. Rachel Maddow is a host on the Air America radio network, and Michael Smerconish is a radio talk show host in Philadelphia. Good morning to both of you. Hi. Michael, let me start with you, and let's read this. Let me read this comment from the president yesterday, again, talking about Iran. So I've told people that if you're interested in avoiding World War III, it seems like you ought to be interested in preventing them from having the knowledge necessary to make a nuclear weapon. Now, I know, Michael, that you don't think the president of the United States drops a comment like that casually in a news conference. It's a calculated strategy. What's behind it?
Yeah, I think it's a very deliberate effort. I mean, it's a press conference that he called together. I think that he's responding to that visual image of Putin and Ahmadinejad snuggling up to one another. And I know that the critics, and Rachel no doubt will say it's the drumbeat toward war with Iran in the same way that we went through it with this administration with Iraq. But analyze what he actually said. It's hard to argue. Ahmadinejad's a crackpot. We know what he said relative to Israel. He's dangerous. He's also delusional, denying the presence of homosexuals in his country. So who could deny that we'll be a step closer if he gets a nuclear capability?
But Rachel, see, Michael's already answered for you. But let me just say, so basically is what he's saying, that if we're looking at the potential of World War III, Republicans are better able to prevent that than Democrats are.
What he's saying is that World War III is worth starting if only over the issue of Iran's nuclear know-how, not even over the issue just of them having weapons. I mean, right now, probably the most anti-American country on earth is Pakistan, I would guess. Pakistan not only has a nuclear weapon, but has demonstrated that they will proliferate that technology on the black market. The idea that Iran would be cause for World War III, but Pakistan's no big worry to us, is psychotic.
I guess we can sit here, Michael and Rachel, and I'll give you both a chance to answer this and debate what is causing or what's behind this strategy. But let's ask you this question, Michael. How are voters going to react to it, especially with Iraq fatigue and with skepticism over what led us to Iraq?
Well, there's no doubt the administration totally lacks credibility for taking the country to war yet again. But I think historically, when the country feels imperiled, the Republican Party benefits. I am not saying that he did this to the benefit of Giuliani or Romney or whomever the nominee will be. But if you're asking me for a cold political calculus, it helps the GOP in the 2008 cycle.
And just real quickly, Rachel, what's your take?
I would say this is good for the country to know that if you vote for a Republican candidate for president, you are voting for a war with Iran. If you liked Iraq, you'll love a Republican president because they're going to bring you a war with Iran.
Rachel and Michael, thank you very much. I appreciate it.